The armies of Israel and the Philistines stood facing each other in the valley of Elah. Between them lay a wide valley filled with dust, tension, and silence. On one side stood Israel, chosen by God, yet frozen by fear. On the other side stood the Philistines, confident in their strength. From the Philistine ranks stepped forward a giant named Goliath. He was massive, towering above every man in Israel. His height alone struck fear into the hearts of soldiers. Clothed in heavy bronze armor, he looked invincible. His helmet gleamed in the sunlight. His spear was like a tree trunk in his hand. Every morning, Goliath walked into the valley. Every night, he returned again. Day after day, his challenge echoed across the land. "Choose a man to fight me," Goliath shouted. "If he kills me, we will serve you. But if I kill him, you will serve us." His words were filled with mockery and pride. Fear swept through Israel's camp. Men who once fought bravely now hid in silence. Even King Saul was afraid. For 40 days, the challenge was unanswered. No sword was lifted. No warrior stepped forward. Israel waited, hoping the giant would leave, but Goliath never left. Fear became a daily routine. The battle was delayed, not by strategy, but by fear. Faith was silent in the
David,
camp.
your music is a
Courage
gift.
seemed completely
The
gone.
Lord is preparing you
Hope
for great
felt
things.
distant. Far from the battlefield, a shepherd watched over sheep. His name was David. He was only 17 years old. Young, small, and overlooked by men. He was not trained for war. He carried no armor, but he carried something greater: faith in God. David had spent years in the wilderness, alone with sheep, stars, and prayers. God was shaping him quietly. One day, David's father, Jesse, called him. Jesse handed David food for his brothers.
It is
David
Goliath.
was told to check on their welfare. David obeyed without question. He left the sheep behind and began his journey toward the battlefield. He did not know destiny awaited him. He only knew he was obeying his father.
Giant Philistine!
Sometimes
Can we win?
obedience
We must.
leads
What's the
directly
plan?
into purpose.
David, Goliath
David
is a monster.
kept walking.
Stay back!
I must
As
face
David
him.
arrived
No,
near
he'll
the
crush
valley, shouting
I
filled the
come
air.
against you in the
He
name
saw
of the
soldiers
Lord.
running
So,
backward
boy.
in fear.
The Lord will watch
Confusion
Olivia in my
covered the
hands.
camp.
Lord,
Then David
Philistines are
heard
gathering
a
at
powerful
Elah. Then we
voice,
must prepare.
a
Rally the
voice
men.
filled with pride and mockery. David stopped and listened carefully. He saw Goliath standing between the armies. David watched Goliath's movements. He listened to every word, and something rose inside him. David asked the soldiers nearby, "Who is this Philistine? Why does he defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers looked at David in disbelief. They warned him about Goliath's strength. They spoke of his victories.
You have
They
courage,
described
young one.
his
Speak of your
size and
victories.
armor.
I have slain a
But
lion
David
and
was
a bear,
not
my lord.
impressed.
And now?
He was not afraid. He was offended. David was offended that God was being mocked. Fear did not control his reaction. Faith did. David spoke boldly among the soldiers. His words spread through the camp. Soon, the message reached King Saul. David was summoned to the king. Standing before Saul, David looked small, but faith stood tall within him. Confidence rested on his face. David said, "Let no one's heart fail. I will fight this Philistine." Saul stared at David carefully. "You cannot fight him," Saul replied. "He has been a warrior from his youth." David did not argue emotionally. He testified faithfully. He spoke of lions attacking his sheep. He spoke of bears rising against him. He spoke of God's deliverance. "When the lion came, I struck it down. When the bear rose, God delivered me. The same God will deliver me now." David's words carried conviction. Saul had no answer. Faith silenced doubt. Reluctantly, Saul agreed. Saul placed his armor on David. The armor was heavy and unfamiliar. David could barely move. David removed the armor immediately. "I cannot fight this way," he said. This was not how God trained him. Instead, David took his staff, he picked up his sling, and selected 5 smooth stones from the stream. Simple tools, but strong faith. David stepped forward alone, toward the giant. Goliath saw David approaching. He burst into loud laughter. "Am I a dog?" Goliath mocked, "that you come to me with sticks?" Goliath cursed David by his gods. He promised to crush him completely. But David did not tremble. David lifted his voice calmly. "You come to me with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord." "The battle does not belong to you," David declared. "The battle belongs to God." The valley grew silent. David began to run forward, not away, not hesitating, straight toward the giant. He placed a stone in his sling. The sling spun through the air. Faith guided his hand. David released the stone with precision. The stone flew through the air. It struck Goliath's forehead. The giant froze in shock. His strength failed him instantly. Goliath collapsed forward to the ground. The earth shook beneath his fall. Silence covered the valley. The impossible had happened. Faith had defeated fear. David ran toward the fallen giant. He took Goliath's own sword and finished the battle. The Philistines panicked immediately. They turned and fled in fear. Israel's army erupted in victory. Shouts filled the valley. Fear broke in a moment. Faith rose across the land. God had won the battle. David stood where no soldier dared stand. This victory was not by strength. It was not by armor or weapons. It was by trust in the living God. God does not save by sword or spear. Giants fall when faith stands firm. Fear loses when God is trusted. This story reminds every generation, no giant is too big for God. The battle still belongs to the Lord. If this story blessed you, please like this video, subscribe for more powerful Bible stories, and share this with someone who needs faith today.